So for this week's discussion, the book I chose is a biography of Max Planck, Uncovering the World of Matter by Jane Wire. Jane Wire is from Stafford, United Kingdom. She is an Italian writer and designer. She mainly writes poetry and also some historical and political style of writing. While doing some research for this assignment, I used the website AR Bookfind, and I also looked for biographies. I had some trouble finding ebooks in particular, so I decided to go to ASU Library and I found this book in a PDF format. This book did not, or the PDF format did not show any images, so I had to Google the book itself and I found a few. This book did not receive any awards and is not part of any series. A brief summary about the book. Max Planck is a German physicist. He is well known for his quantum theory. Planck was very indecisive on the university he wanted to attend. He actually attended two different ones, the University of Munich and the University of Berlin. He received his PhD from the University of Munich. He also won a Nobel Prize in Physics in 1918. Later in life, Planck went through some hard times. His house was bombed by the Nazis and his son was killed for the attempted assassination of Hitler. The age group I believe that fits this book would be middle schoolers, grades 6 through 8. The vocabulary and the information this book contains is far more advanced for anything under grades 6 through 8. So the 5 interesting things that I've learned about this book, number 1, who Max Planck is. I had no idea who he was. Number 2, he mentions to his fellow scientists that were struggling after the war ended in 1918, he mentions to them his slogan, persevere and continue working. Number 3 is how Planck disagreed with the way Jewish scientists were being treated in 1933, and because of that, it made his life even harder. Number 4 would be how his house was actually bombed during World War II because of the disagreements with the Nazis, and he lost all of his research. Number 5 would be how Planck struggled through a lot of grief, and with losing his children and his first wife, he never gave up and he wanted to make the world a better place through science. So for evaluating the text, the category that this book falls into is a nonfiction of inquiry. So according to our textbook on page 292, it states, these books actually have much in common with interpretive nonfiction in that both typically required in-depth research, the findings of which must be synthesized and interpreted. The structure of the book is expository. This book contains detailed description of sequence, cause and effect, and the sequence of this is laid out in a timeline. So it goes with his childhood, his later in life experiences, his problems with constant death in the family, and the struggles during World War II. So for the images I show here is a table of content, and then down here it kind of goes around the wars and the challenges he faced. He actually met Albert Einstein throughout his life. This is Max Planck himself and another fellow scientist that was kind of mentioned in the story. And then this is also another fellow physicist that's mentioned in the story, Francis Hellman. This is just some information about Max Planck, about where he was born, the date of birth, and all of that. This is the timeline in the story, goes from the day he was born and everything like that. So the pictures I showed you, it showed a table of content, timeline, and some photographs of the story itself. Again, what I read is just a PDF format. That is what I found through my Google search. So after reading chapter 11 and this book, and also doing some research about the book, I get a better understanding of what kind of nonfiction book this is, and the style and the organization about the book itself. I would definitely recommend, again, to middle school students, grades 6 through 8, and definitely not elementary school. This book kind of contains a lot of history and science together, so it's perfect for middle school students. Thank you.